and taking it in a very dominant fashion. But as we're saying that, Panda versus Aklo, this should be a good set. I'm expecting big stuff from Aklo, and already we're seeing a big 71%. Oh my god.
Yeah, so Aklo, New York native, has been tearing things up as #1 in New York as of recently. Most recently sponsored by Chili Mountain, which is a local esports organization, and has been doing insanely well in New York City. And you can see it. This Punish game, that last stock, like just a really, really solid, just overall solid stuff. And another stock potentially if he gets his edge guard.
No, absolutely. I feel like Aklo is definitely, if there was like a Melee magazine that you subscribe to every month and it had a players to watch section, Aklo would be in the players to watch for me. If I was the editor-in-chief of this magazine, that is what I'd want to write about, is just how this guy seems to have it feels like a multiplier on his development, like where one person gets better by in a single month by about say 1 unit. Aklo does it, with 3. He just improves so quickly, and it feels like there's so much room for improvement in the way he plays. He's got a ton of potential, and we're seeing that now. Really solid lead. Does lose his stock, but I expect him to kind of take back control of the game.
Yeah, I mean, he plays a very, very large amount and is also a really smart player, and he's able to like manifest that with the way he practices, which is why I feel like we've seen a lot of his growth over the last year and a half, just at a faster rate than a lot of other players. By the way, that was an insane tech chase by Panda. The pack throws and the shines, just crazy stuff. I mean, barely missing the edge guard, but really, really good sequence.
Absolutely, and I think just to clarify what I mean by players to watch, it's not me saying that, oh, Aklo, you may never have heard of him, here's a guy that might be good sooner or later. What I mean instead is more these players that I think might be top 15, might be top 10, might be top 5 in a year or two kind of thing. People who it seems like, hey, this is a person that you want to, if they were a stock, you'd pick them. Like someone like a Pipsqueak or a Kadoran, or who just seem to be really good at the game and approach the game, I think, the right way.
Speaking of Kadoran, IRL local, Aklo beat Kadoran with Link to win it. So, just saying, he's got those results too. But yeah, Aklo's stock is very high.
Yeah, but all things considered, Panda showing us that, we're speaking about the wrong guy to some degree. Already up a very solid amount of percent, kind of holding that lead. And Commentator's Curse is always strong no matter what time of the day. And
but you might hit
not.
Oh,
no God, I hate this game sometimes, man.
Wow.
I despise this game. Oh my God.
Really good stuff to Panda for bringing it back. Aklo had a pretty dominant lead the first 2 stocks, and Panda was able to claw his way back, but Aklo, just the frame-perfect gimps, was able to bring it back with just 1 or 2, just slip-ups from Panda's part. I think Panda beat None earlier this tournament, too, which is why we're seeing him in winter semis, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's really impressive.
So yeah, Panda's also a name of, another name. It was okay, this guy's really good, but, we're just seeing him do really, really well now. So
yeah, I really think it's it's just funny. I don't know, some people, it feels sort of like they come out of nowhere. Other people, it feels like, you kind of see their development very kind of slow but consistent. It's fun to see the way that players develop in kind of different rates, because sometimes it's about not hitting a plateau, and other times it's about this explosive growth over 6 months or something. And I think both of these guys, their kind of peaks, some of the stuff that they've had, the best results, really impressive, but so different as well.
Yeah, Aklo's a player who maybe 3 years ago no one has ever heard of, and Panda is a player who's been on the CFL PR and PNW PRs that when he's been in college forever. And it's just seeing how different players are able to get to this peak level and start, I guess, breaking through whatever plateaus that they were in at different rates. It's just really cool to see, honestly.
Yeah, especially since when it does happen, it doesn't, because Melee is such a complex and stylistic game, you don't usually see the same thing happen, the story is very different. The things they start to optimize, they optimize in a different way. The matchups that they kind of struggle with, because the play styles are so different. Really long-winded way of just saying each player's journey can be so exciting, but All that being said, Panda's still with a solid one-stock lead, clearly playing some of the best we've seen in a while, and this is good damage, 44% already. Going to be able to get a decent open up off of a grab if he is able to.
He's doing a really good job from what I've seen at maintaining center and not letting Aklo get in. Like, when Aklo's able to maintain the center and keep Panda in the pressure situations, like, his punish game is really, really good to the point where it seems like Panda isn't able to get back in any situation. But one or two slip-ups, or when Panda is able to maintain center stage, it seems just impossible for Aklo to get an opening.
No, absolutely. This set is a lot closer than I would have thought. Again, really impressive that Panda was able to take out none, or at least, not take out. I believe he's still in losers, but
Yeah, in winners.
but yeah, I don't know, like it. Oh
No!
my god!
Oh, barely misses the edge guard. That would have been it too. Like, it literally had a guaranteed Armada shine and just missed an execution.
This is a little painful if you're a Panda fan. Like I think, we talk probably too much about like how foxes can, be so fragile and kind of like make one mistake and you die. I think that kind of gets like talked about a bit too much, but we are seeing like in Fox Dittos in particular, you can just really kind of shoot yourself in the foot by, accidentally timing a jump at the wrong time, pressing the wrong button. Like it.
I think it's also just like potentially just a showcase of like how practiced people are on the shines. Like, Aklo has hit every single Armada shine needed for the set, and in game 1, like, he only won the game because he was able to get the game perfectly. Whereas in the same situation, Panda was unable to hit it end of game 2, and I think it's just like those little differences that make the differences when it comes to the game count. Because Panda's been doing great the entire set. Like, Panda has been up, yeah.
Like the consistency that you need to have to kind of to win, for lack of a better word. Like, Aklo needs to hit this. He goes for the dare. If he goes for the shine, there's a tech opportunity. So he understands that situation, doesn't risk kind of putting himself in a slightly disadvantageous position, just closes it out, resets it, knows exactly how to flowchart it. And I think that's why I've been so impressed with them. And it's frustrating if you're rooting for Panda here, because we're seeing like some of the composure kind of stopping him from kind of hitting the peaks that we know he's capable of. Like, this is looking like an Aklo 3-0, and both game 1 and game 2 felt like they should have been won by Panda.
Yeah, this is the exact same as what happened with the Nielders and Bayflex set, in which like the player who looks like he's in the disadvantage right now was up the entire time, both games, and then kind of gets owned game 3. But I also want to point out really quick that Aklo's micro this set has been really, really good. The stock right before this, when he did the downers, the only reason he was able to do those downers is because he SDI'd Panda's up B to the stage and then set himself up on stage to go for those downers. And it's like, I feel like we never see a player go for things like that. Also, Armada trying to clean up the stock. Again, just a showcase of Aklo's commitment to the Armada shines and how practiced he is in those situations.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, good stuff to Aklo. Like I said, he's a player I see going really far. And you had mentioned how like not a lot of people were familiar with him. A huge part of that, as you know, is kind of not being able to travel as much, and online really giving him an opportunity to kind of push sort of to new heights and show the world kind of what he's made of, I guess, for lack of a better word. So yeah, I don't know. Like I'm really impressed.
For sure, for sure. I mean, he's got good practice at home. Like, his brother, Foxy Grandpa, well, one of his 4 brothers, Foxy Grandpa, is very, very good at the game as well, and they train all the time. And Akla has been going to stuff in like New York and such, so he's got some practice, but he's definitely not as much of a world traveler as a lot of the other people we would consider like top 30, top 20 players. So I really want to see Aklo travel in 20. Like, he's been interested in traveling in 2022 and such, and with his new sponsor, as well as with whatever events New York's going to be running. We've got something in January where we're flying some players out to. It'll be interesting to see how he does against the field. And I know he's going to an event in late December where we'll have some chances to play against Don NYC. So it'll be interesting to see how he does against the field, because I feel like he will do fairly well. And also same with Panda, because I feel like Panda is a pretty underrated player and has been like showing that he's a top 50 level player for the last like half a year, but I feel like he doesn't get talked about a lot. So
yeah, no, definitely kind of a player you don't hear nearly as much about, despite again, being very capable. And that's the kind of player that, like, we look at that set, we see someone where, oh man, if you just kind of tighten this up, tighten that up, eventually people, well, not all the time, but if we're lucky, he will. And then all of a sudden, like that kind of small adjustment, which is quite hard to achieve, making sure you don't miss the kind of free stocks, making sure you clutch it out at the moments you need to be clutch. If we're able to see kind of Panda develop that way, all of a sudden people start going, "Who the hell is this Panda guy? He came out of nowhere. He's so good." And it's like, we were seeing that good stuff, but there were just kind of a couple pieces missing, to kind of complete the package that is a player that wins tournaments and doesn't just place well.
Yeah, I mean, he did beat none of this tournament, so he's very clearly like a good player. So just putting together other stuff, and he'll be on the top.
But we are going to take a short